My name is Tyler Collins, and I am the Encounter Director. I'm in charge of the ministry. All the decisions that are made ultimately come down to me. I decide the direction, kind of cast the vision, and lead the people who are actually going to be carrying that out.
My name is Helen Hansen, and I am the Assistant Director of Encounter. Encounter meets Friday nights in CLC 203, which is one of the classrooms, at 10 p.m. Encounter stands for an outreach ministry that goes downtown where students all over North Central University gather together, and we go and we evangelize to people on the streets, whether that would be talking to them or it would be praying with them. Whatever God leads is basically the goal is to let people know that they're loved and that there's someone out there who cares more about them than maybe their family or their friends.
Encounter is open to North Central students and students from the other Christian colleges in the area. Because we're out on the streets, it's something where we don't want people who are under 18 just because it's a liability thing. I think the thing that I enjoy most, especially after having been in leadership for the last year and a half, is every week showing up, and even when I have a plan, God doing something even crazier than I ever imagined.
One of the things that I enjoy the most about Encounter is getting to see students being cultivated in an environment where they can learn how to effectively share their faith and show people on the streets who are less fortunate the love of Christ. And so one of the things that is something that stirs my heart more than anything is seeing students really get a heart for God's heart, for the people downtown. What we try to tell students is talk to those people on the street like you would your friend, or you would just someone you're in the checkout line with, or just however you would talk with anyone naturally. That's the biggest thing, is being natural is key. If you go up to someone and you're like, "Can I pray for you?" they are going to be caught off guard. But if you just ask them how they're doing, what are they doing, where do they work, it's going to cultivate a conversation that's natural, and then it's going to break any kind of awkward pauses or just tension that may be there. And so with people who are uncomfortable, that is something that we encourage them in. If they're afraid, we encourage them that they are going to be in a safe place, and we explain all of the rules that we have and things to keep them safe. And so there's really no fear that should be there. It's a great way to stretch yourself and to be used by God in a powerful way.
I just pray that would be at the forefront of our minds, that the rest of tonight, even as we're downtown, that how amazing you are, how holy, how perfect you are. Something I don't think people realize is how diverse Minneapolis is. And there's the Koreans downtown, there is the Africans downtown, the Somalis, there's the Americans, sometimes there's even children and teens. And we just casually start conversation. Sometimes when we're waiting for the light to change, just, how's the night going? Or because a good part of our ministry takes place in the Minnesota winter, it's, man, this weather really sucks. And those are good conversation starters. And then from there, we just kind of talk about life and kind of hear people out.
It was a freezing cold night, and I was wearing my coat. And I remember that I had my ID in my coat, and God told me to pull it out for whatever reason. So I pulled out my ID and I put it around my neck, and we were walking, and all of a sudden I see out of the glimpse of my eye this woman who was underneath this stairwell right next to a bar, and she was just bawling. And so we walked over to her, and I remember in that moment the Lord wanted me to look her in the eye and just say, "It's okay. Jesus has brought us here to you to bring you to a safe place, to let you know that He loves you." And I remember just taking off my coat and putting it around her and just holding her as she's weeping and crying. And eventually we were able to get her some food and get her off of the streets and get her home. And I remember just looking into her eyes the last time that we saw her and just telling her that the Lord loved her and to never forget that He brought us to her because He saw her amongst everyone, because He cares about her.
It may seem kind of scary, but because everyone else there is learning, it's a safe environment for you to learn as well. There's no one who's going to be beating you over the head saying you're doing it wrong, because all of us are growing and we're applying what we're learning in our classrooms. And so it's a safe place for you to learn how to share God's word with people and learn how to be an effective witness.